Hey guys, welcome to the One Lane Road Podcast. I'm Dustin, back in Tennessee, joined by my co-host.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the One Lane Road Podcast.
Man, we got a cool show going on. I'm back. I'm happy to be back in Tennessee.
Glad you're back. I've been missing you. I've been sitting. My wife's on vacation. She went to Florida whenever you were on your way back, and I've been sitting by myself since Sunday, and I ain't had anybody to talk to.
What you been doing?
Nothing. I've been watching Republican National Convention. I got on a tear on YouTube. I watched a bunch of jiu-jitsu videos, and then I watched I bet I watched 45 minutes of people crip walking, just sea walking on YouTube. I don't know why.
Crip walking like
it's 1999.
Like
people dusting their shoes off like they're in Compton, like they're the Crips and the Bloods, and just doing that crazy foot walking dance.
I'd file that under. I'm never telling anybody that in my life.
I'm going to file that under. Man, about 45 minutes later, I went, I don't even know how I got on that tangent. You ever got on one of those where you start clicking videos?
No,
it was in my recommended videos.
Yeah.
Ice Cube doing some kind of one of these guys.
You're the least gangsta person I know. You're wearing like denim on denim right now.
I've got straight up denim on slip on leather boots right now.
Levi Strauss.
Oh, it's all Wranglers all day long from head to toe.
Man, and you were crip walking.
I don't even know how it was. Why it's in my recommended videos? I said that's interesting. Why would that be there? I wonder what that even is.
I think Kara watches a lot of Silk the Shocker and stuff like that when you go to bed.
I wish it had anything to do with that, but she don't have access to my YouTube.
This is odd.
It's odd stuff, man.
Odd stuff.
I'm glad you're back, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I still ain't got that cigar lit.
Still trying to light this cigar. He brought it here and said, "Can you light this for me?" We
had a pretty good time. It was did you see my video on Facebook that like me stuck at Busch Gardens?
I hate to admit this, but no, I did not.
What?
I didn't watch it. I'm sorry.
You didn't watch it, or you didn't see it?
I didn't see it. I didn't.
There's a difference because
I mean, I've not even been on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
So you're really probably aggravated about the 45 notifications I've tagged you in on Twitter, and
I don't even know about them. I can't be aggravated about them.
Huh? Well, I've been plugging this fundraiser like crazy.
I've been trying to hide from Twitter and Instagram and Facebook.
That's not a good thing to do when you've got a fundraiser coming up in like 10 days.
That's what Kara said too. She said you might ought to be checking that out. You might have something important coming up.
Well, just check it sometime between now and next Saturday.
I will tonight after we get done. I'll check it.
But no, it was a good little trip. But my Busch Garden video got 2,000 views, and you couldn't. My own co-host didn't even.
That's amazing. 2,000 views.
Stupid. What it is.
Why don't you steer somebody to our podcast?
Nice voice to have on social media with all their friends, and all I can do is gripe about sitting on a bench for 45 minutes. You know what? I told you last week that Lindsay said I wasn't the daredevil type.
Yeah.
And whatnot.
Yeah.
Finally ballsed up a little bit and got on the ride. So I'm going to get on this one.
Yeah.
You know what I picked?
Teacups.
I didn't. No. The merry-go-round.
Oh, yeah.
No. I didn't even look when I got on the ride what I was getting on. Scared of heights.
Yeah.
Jumping this ride. 330 feet straight up. Tilt you down.
Yeah.
You're looking straight at the ground. Then they tilt you a little bit more where you're feeling like completely helpless.
Yeah, instantly.
Drop you 65 miles an hour.
Oh, my God.
That was my hello to Busch Gardens. I just wanted to be back on the bench holding a 4-month-old.
About to puke right there in front of you, boy.
Never again, man.
Oh, gosh.
I'm not afraid to say it. I was glad to be back.
Yeah.
We got a cool show coming up. Something we're excited about. Rob Edwards, basketball coach for the Clay County Bulldogs. He's joining us in just a minute. And
that's awesome.
Later on in the show, we've got musician Josh Morningstar touring currently off and on some dates with Shooter Jennings.
So, Shooter Jennings is somebody we talk about a lot. That's one of Dustin's favorite, obviously one of his favorite guys. And then he's somebody that he introduced me to later on when we got to college. So that's real exciting for me. Getting to talk to him.
He toured with David Allen Cole last year.
That's awesome.
Keith Whitley's son, Jesse Keith Whitley, and not to be confused with anybody else. And then Shooter this year. So when the show I went to a couple weeks ago, he was the one that opened for him.
That's awesome.
So it's cool to have him on the show. So we're gonna try to get Rob here on the phone just here in a minute. All right, everybody, we've got our guest on the phone. We've got the District Coach of the Year, the Herald Citizen Upper Cumberland Coach of the Year, the District and Region Tournament Coach Award. Anything else you could have won this year? Rob Edwards, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks. I'm happy to be here, man. What an intro. That may be better.
Did they make up some of that stuff just to give you extra awards this year? Is that what happened? I didn't even hear about all that stuff whenever I was playing basketball here in Clay County.
Yeah, I made some of that up. I made some of that.
Well, good job.
I created some of those things.
Yeah.
Lucas didn't hear about it because we didn't win awards on this end of the county
Maybe
much.
that's what it was. None of us was, besides Brent, none of us are good enough to play ball anywhere else.
No, Kevin Dyson didn't get that kind of intro, man. I feel pretty special.
Yeah. And he's only got the biggest, play in the history of the Titans franchise. So yeah, you're doing pretty good for yourself tonight.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Well, I knew you wouldn't pump yourself up like that, so what I did today, I messaged your wife, and I said, all right, I know Rob ain't going to toot his own horn too much. I said, so
drop some of that stuff on me.
What did he win? She goes, Lord, I don't even know. I have to look.
Well, I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate it. Everybody knows that anybody that's been around sports knows that good players make good coaches. So, I've been fortunate to have a lot of good players through the years, and they've made me look a lot smarter than I am most of the time.
One thing that I watched about noticed about the season this year was how disciplined and how much of a team that you had, how much everybody looked like they loved playing with one another and for each other. Because you talk about good players, and we'll get to him plenty, but it was the Tyreke show a lot of the season, but without guys like Wyatt Mabry and Browning and all those kids contributing, and Dawson, a lot of these guys, you don't make it 30 wins into the state tournament.
Yeah, a good team really comes down to guys accepting their roles, in my opinion, and liking one another and having good chemistry. And man, this past season we had as much of that as I've ever had. We did a lot of stuff together, even when it wasn't basketball related. The guys, they hung out a lot together. They all liked one another. So that just makes things go a lot smoother. Nobody really cared who got the credit. I couldn't tell you without looking at the stats, but I would say Tyreke was our leading scorer most nights. But other nights, when other guys stepped up and scored for us, everybody was happy. Everybody just wanted to win and do what they could to help the team, and that means a lot.
It does mean a lot, and something that's hard, especially when you're young, like these guys are, is getting kids to settle down into those roles, into those contributing roles, like what it would take to have somebody like a star like Tyreke playing. Those other roles sometimes don't get the credibility and the get pushed out there like Tyreke would. Was it hard to get any of those kids to fall into those roles, or did they just kind of do it automatically?
Well, they just pretty much did on their own. It's no secret that Tyreke was our best player, and all those guys knew that, and they all accepted that, and they were happy for him. But at the same time, he's the type of kid that he doesn't really enjoy all that attention. He wants to make his teammates better, and they knew that they could expect that from him. If he had a good shot, but he could give it up to somebody else for a great shot, he would do that.
That's awesome.
And he averaged 4.5, 5 assists per game, while scoring 28, 29 points a game. So he could have easily scored 35, 36 a game if he was a little more stingy.
Yeah, there were several times I seen him penetrate the lane and probably had shots, like you said, and he kick it out to the 3-point shooters. And man, on nights that they were on, it was a beautiful thing to watch with you guys. And talking about Tyreke's unselfishness, one thing that I remember seeing, I don't remember if it was the district or the region. You can tell me when Wyatt got the MVP of the region.
That's right. Correct. Yeah.
And Wyatt was one of my favorite players to watch. I like watching big guys, and I think that's something you're really going to miss this season. But seeing Tyreke looking like he was genuinely happy for Wyatt for winning that award that night.
Oh yeah, I guarantee he was. He, like I said before, he's the type of kid that wants everybody around him to be better too, and be successful. And Wyatt was really deserving of the region MVP the way he played. I think that was the right choice by the committee to select him. And Tyreke and everybody was happy. Same thing happened last year, the year before last. John Tanner, he hit the winning shot in the region championship game and got the region MVP award. And so Tyreke is, I wouldn't call it shunned, but he's been left out of the MVP award the region last 2 years, but he's fine with that. It doesn't bother him at all.
That's what you want in your superstar.
That's right.
Well, last year's team, I have to say, it was a joy to watch. I went to more basketball games last year because of I went to more games to watch you guys in Jackson County as well than I probably went in 10 years combined. I mean, it was a show to watch. Am I going to have to buy season tickets next year to get a seat in that place or what? Because I know it's going to be nuts.
Well, we'd love to sell you a season ticket. That way, even if you don't come, we still get your money.
Yeah.
But no, I think we're going to have space. Our attendance for the last 2 or 3 years has really gone up. We've just had great crowd support, great community support. Wherever we go, doesn't matter. We can travel wherever, and we have a great fan base, guys. I'm telling you, a great community that travels with us and supports these guys, win or lose, and and a lot of that goes back to those guys too. They're fun to watch. I've had dozens of people tell me that they enjoyed watching them just because just because of their team chemistry. They didn't care who scored. They didn't, there wasn't any animosity on the floor. Nobody ever looked like, well, I'm going to shoot it this time. It's my turn to shoot.
And you've had some teams like that in the past, right?
Well, we probably have.
Don't want to put you in the spot.
Let's put you on the spot a little bit here.
I'm just kidding. You ain't got to answer that.
A few guys who, if they didn't shoot it after the fourth or fifth trip, they're going to shoot it the next time. So.
They wouldn't play in defense coming down the floor if they didn't shoot it that fourth, fifth time, was they?
That's right. Yeah, they were just jogging.
I always joked with AJ Crackhead. He could be the only person to be limping down. It'd be on defense. And
limping on defense to half court.
Limping. I mean, he might have had a blown Achilles, and Jeremy Hammer get a steal, and he's wide. AJ's running the court, calling for the ball, slapping for his hand.
Yeah, lots of times the ball in your hand, it's the best medicine. It cures all ailments a lot of times.
Absolutely. Was you going to talk about?
I've been seeing a lot of stuff. Y'all are in Georgia right now. Is that right? Y'all are down in Atlanta playing ball.
We were last weekend.
Uh-huh.
We were down at the Best of the South tournament. It's pretty much a Southeast regional AAU tournament. A lot of future college players and even some future NBA guys are down there. We're down there last week playing, and our team. I call it our team. I don't really have anything to do with it much. I keep the stats. But
that's what I did whenever I played ball too.
yeah. So I've been on both ends of the spectrum now, all the way at the far end of the bench and then in the coaching box too. So,
well, what's the highlights of the tournament down there?
Every team you play at that level is good. Every team has D1 kids on it. We've played some kids that are going to Indiana. Already committed to Indiana, to Michigan State, to Florida, different places. It's just a different level of competition than what you'll see watching District 7A or 8AA or anything around here. It's almost like watching college games without the, I hate to say without the coaching, but the truth is that they just don't, geographically,
right.
Sometimes when you put those teams together, it's hard to get everybody together at one time in practice.
That's right. Got a bunch of one-off players playing there too, right? The superstars of their particular team playing.
Right, and everybody on that team is the best player on their high school team.
That's right.
So you throw them all together, it's kind of a mix-up there for a while.
What kind of numbers Tyreke putting up down there?
He averaged, I think, 24 points a game, 24 points a game, probably 7-8 rebounds a game. 4 or 5 assists per game. And he's putting up as good numbers as any guard that was at that tournament or at the tournament up in Indianapolis the week before. As a matter of fact, if you follow Hoop Scene, you can follow him on Twitter, and they've been writing some articles about Tyreke, about how he's one of the best guards in the Southeast.
Well, that's amazing. Coming from this little bitty small town, But how did you feel that he stacked up against some of them other guards down there?
Well, obviously, I'm a little biased.
Right. Objectively, if you can.
You know, we haven't. I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen any guard that's better than him. I've seen 4 or 5 kids probably as good as he is.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as his ability to score from different spots on the floor and just kind of score when he wants to, I haven't seen anybody better than him. And that's kind of the feedback that I've been getting from these college coaches too, that call me about him. They say the same thing.
Well, you talk about the college coaches. We got to ask you, who's looking at him right now?
Well, he has several offers. He has 8 offers, as a matter of fact, for full scholarships.
That's pretty nice.
I hadn't talked to him prior to this conversation. I hope he doesn't mind me sharing this. But,
well, I saw
got that exclusive right there.
I saw some on Twitter, so Twitter told it before you did, maybe.
Yeah,
we'll blame it on Twitter.
We'll just blame it on Twitter. You didn't tell everybody.
Okay. All right, that's fine. Tennessee Tech, Furman out of South Carolina, University of Evansville up in Indiana. They're in the same conference as Wichita State, who's really made some noise the last few years. UT Martin, Murray State, David Lipscomb, Northern Arizona, and Columbia State have all offered it. He has interest from a ton of different ones. Right before you guys called, coach from Northern Kentucky University up in right below Cincinnati called me about it.
There you go.
ETSU, Northeastern out of Boston, Massachusetts, UNC Charlotte,
Ooh.
Belmont, MTSU. Of course, UNC Charlotte, that's Mark Price. He played the NBA for
he coaches there?
Or something. Yeah, he's the head coach at UNC Charlotte.
Yeah, okay.
Well, give us
that'd be a nice place for him to land.
Give us the exclusive. Where's he going?
Man, it's wide open, man. I don't know. I don't know.
It's nice to see those schools offering.
If you ask him, he'll tell you the same thing. If you ask him, he doesn't know either.
Still doesn't know, huh?
Is he going to have the press conference at the gym with the hats like all the big dogs do? Is he going to have the hat? You're going to be standing next to him?
That's what Coach Walker said. He said, we got to get the hat.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do in November. You got to get the hats and set them on the table and then choose one. So I don't know. I don't know how it'll end up. But,
it'd be nice to see him somewhere local. At one aspect, it would nice to see him in a Tech or of Murray State. My sister and her family lives in Murray. It's a real nice town, but a lot of us are dreaming for a little bit bigger than even that. For this year.
A lot of us dreaming for that UNC call there. Me anyway.
Yeah, he's gonna have lots of options. I think this week we're going to Greensboro, North Carolina this weekend, and this is the final week of I forget what they call it, open season. Where the coaches can come watch them play. Recruitment period where they can come watch them play in person. They can't talk to them during the tournaments, but they can text them and call them on the phone afterwards. But it's strange, all those college coaches standing there and like I'll see Coach Payne from Tech, who I've known for a while, and I'll just kind of look at him and he'll just kind of nod. They're not supposed to talk to anybody during the tournament. So,
I sitting over there hoping some D1 schools just don't call. Just please don't call them right now.
But he's gonna have a lot of options.
Yeah, I'd love to see him go to Tech. Obviously, we're a Tech alumni. I'd love to see him go to Tech. But again, like Dustin was saying, we just got higher hopes for him. He's real exciting for somebody. Us even being from Hermitage Springs, we didn't have that superstar athlete. We had a couple of really good athletes, but this is real exciting from both ends of the county. We're real excited, hoping he does great big things for us.
It is, and I'm really fortunate to be here at this time because a lot of coaches that coach 30 years never get a kid like this, especially at the 1A level. So I'm fortunate to be around and enjoy it. This whole recruitment deal it's been a ball for me because I've learned a lot of stuff over the course of the last 6 months. So he's been good for me too.
Yeah,
I'd say so. And I seen him when I coached that little fall or refereed that little fall league for you a couple years ago. I always felt like he kind of held back. He wasn't really because he knew it was just for fun. And I honestly don't think he was trying to show all of his skills off to the opposing players of the conference that night or those nights. I felt like he was holding back a little bit during that. Then I saw him during the season. I was like, whoa, this ain't the same dude.
Yeah, I think maybe that a couple years ago, he didn't really have ownership of the team, so to speak. And I think as the season progressed, his freshman and especially his sophomore year, he kind of took ownership and took that role as the leader. So I think that really made a difference in the way he played.
Yeah, that and you're still getting comfortable in your own body when you're that young. He may not have actually understood the talent that he had versus everybody else. At that point in time. So it's just a learning experience, especially when you're as young and as talented as what he is.
Yeah, and my father-in-law, old James, he's been pumping him up. Of course, James has been known to live in the moment a little bit when he's he's thinking, he's my boy, son, Tyreke's the man. Hey, you got to see Tyreke. You got to see. So I came over. The first game I guess I watched this year was the one at y'all's place against Macon County, and of course I thought he was great. But at the end of the game, when y'all come back and beat him, you were down like 9 or 10 or something at halftime, right? At that game, then. At y'all's place this year against Macon? You were down at halftime, I believe, right?
Yeah. You're talking about which game you talking about, Macon?
Yeah. Then y'all come back and kind of took over that second half and won the game, and James said...
Oh, yeah.
James said, son, what'd you think about him? I said, all I seen was a bunch of Hermitage Springs kids bombing three-pointers, all I saw. But honestly, I did think he was great, but I had to get the little Hermitage Springs comment in that night, to my father-in-law.
Oh, wow, yeah, of course you do. Yeah, you gotta take up for your alma mater now.
Well, yeah, and I tell you what kind of spot y'all put me in, and this is about as awkward as a spot you've been, because back and forth on Facebook all last year. I don't know if you ever saw it, but everybody was talking about Jackson County, Clay County. Y'all were playing somewhere that night. I don't remember which whose place y'all were playing at, and I posted a shirt with a Hermitage Springs, or a picture with a Hermitage Springs shirt on. I said, this is where my allegiance will always lie, and I got like a little miniature fight going on in my comment section. Like I just done it to rile people up, like I tend to do sometimes, and and I left it alone. I put my phone down and never even looked at it for like an hour, and I come back and Andrew Meadows and Big John Godwin were arguing. Andrew said, DK, you just remember Celina's or HS is part of Clay County, so you'll be cheering for Clay County. And then and John commented back, said, well, DK is my assistant coach at Jackson County on the 6th grade team, so therefore he'll be cheering for Jackson County.
I guess it's good to have people fighting over you.
Well, 2 guys fighting over me is not my dream scenario, but hey, But hey, we get to the game that night, and I guess it was in Jackson County, come think about it, and I'm sitting on Jackson County's side, or in Clay County's side, I'm sorry, and at halftime, my wife, Clay County alumni, moves and goes to the Jackson County side. Okay? So next time you see her, you got to roast her a little bit. I'm sitting here, you think
I'll have to get on her a little bit. I was thinking earlier, if you say anything about her, I was going to brag on her a little bit about being, one of my favorite managers I ever had. But I don't know, that may change my direction.
That changes the taste of that conversation a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I seen her visiting with people, and I'm hanging out. It was me and James Hatcher, and God knows if anybody's a Celina hater, it's James Hatcher, as we've documented several times, but he's a Clay County fan now. And I'm sitting there, and all her family's still around. I look over, and she's just sucking it up. I text her. I said, "Who are you sucking up to over there?" I said, "Just," and and ultimately I'm a basketball fan, and I liked watching Jackson County play, but I don't know a lot of their kids that were on their high school team as much as I do some of the Clay County kids. And I got to tell a story of myself, and I'm gonna get myself in trouble. I'm watching a game between you guys, and there's one of Jackson County's players. He's driving in. He's notorious for it. He pushes off with that offhand, trying to get himself some distance to the goal. Shoots his jump shot. I'm in the crowd, and I'm just a basketball fan at this point, I look at the ref, and I show him where he pushed off with the off arm. And Lindsay said, "Hey, idiot, you're wearing a Jackson County shirt. You might want to, jacket. You might want to put your arm down." I said, "We pushed off. He pushes off all the time." I'm just a basketball fan, and I'm really excited to watch this season. You lost White, you lost Browning, you lost Copus. Who can we look forward to this year? When I'm watching objectively in my blue jacket, with purple underneath. Who can I get excited to these young cats coming up that I can check out?
Well, I'm gonna have to be careful what I say. I'm afraid this information may leak out to Blue Devil country here if I say too much.
Hey, it'll be my wife telling it, not me.
Well, obviously we got Tyreke back. Makes things a lot easier for everybody. We got this summer. We had a great summer, by the way. We went 23-1 or something like that during the summer. And had some kids step up into some roles, and we didn't really know losing Wyatt and John Wayne and Clay. And Clay's a great defender. John Wayne's just level-headed and kept everybody cool and calm. Sometimes John Wayne would even calm me down. And of course, Wyatt was just a presence. He's just a force. I mean, just played so doggone hard and just never stopped. He had a motor that he could take that motor and put it into some of these other kids. And man, I mean,
he moved as well for a big guy as anybody I've ever seen.
And he was smart. He was smart for a big guy too. The couple times that I watched him, I played that position, and I thought, he's just a smart player in that position. He makes good choices, makes good moves when he's down there. Yeah,
I was a big guy in high school, so I know how dumb they can be.
That's right. I'm there with you, brother.
He's a pretty smart kid. Really
Donnie
smart
Cherry
kid,
used to give me the point to his temple and say, "Thank Hickman, thank Hickman." I said, "Oh, yep, sorry, Mr. Cherry."
Yeah. That was definitely one of his trademarks.
But anyway, we'll have 4 seniors. Tyreke being one of them. Dawson Russell. He's a tough kid. I'm telling you, he's tough.
Yeah.
He's a better defender than he appears. He's more of a hustler and defender.
You're right. He, of course, we press quite a bit, just depending on who we're playing. And, I don't worry a whole lot about teams beating our press sometimes because I know Dawson's on the back end, and man, he's going to try to take a charge.
Yeah.
He had more charges last season than anybody in a single season that I've ever had. I can't remember what it is, 38 or 40 or somewhere high 30s, low 40s. So he's just tough. A good passer makes good decisions.
And it's crazy because he's William Russell's brother, and I ain't never seen William pass the ball a day in his life.
Well, I remember coaching against William. I'll let you do the I'll let you do the critiquing.
William's my boy. I can say it. You played on the team with William and James Hatch. You better be a hell of a rebounder.
Hayden Smith, he'll be back. He came off the bench last year, the left-handed guy.
Good shooter.
Absolutely light it up. Absolutely light it up if you don't guard him. He wasn't on anybody's scout report last year, so he come off the bench. He might hit 2 or 3 in a quarter. He did that probably 7 or 8 times during the season. He come in, hit 3 shots, boom, 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 and
when he's on, you don't even touch the rim.
Do what?
I say when he's on, it don't even touch the rim. It just goes right through the net.
Oh yeah, it's just nothing but net. Yeah. We'll have Braden Moss. Now he's only played 2 years, but Braden's a real smart kid. He reminds me a lot of John Wayne in the way that he plays. His freshman sophomore year he was hurt and he didn't get to play, so that kind of hurt him a little bit. So he'll contribute some.
Okay.
Seth Ogletree, he played some minutes last year. Came off the bench. He's probably going to play the 4 spot most of the time. Really athletic. Outside of Tyreke, he's probably the next best athlete on the team. Really athletic, long arms,
quick jumper.
Great jumper. And it has a motor. He's one of those guys that has a motor. He just go. He hustles and plays hard, and that's really all you can ask out of him to do. If you get him playing hard, that's half the battle.
I always hated when I seen him leading the break because I always knew it was going to be a charge or a block, and I had to call it. He's going to be out of the
Yeah, that's right. I think our second leading scorer this summer until he got hurt. He got hurt about halfway through the summer. Was Gavin Silk.
That's somebody I'm excited about.
He should be. He's going to be good. He's already good. He can score on anybody. He's about if he's 6 foot, that's he's wearing some tall shoes.
Yeah.
But man, he's a post kid that he just uses his body so well. He gets defenders in trouble and gets them behind him and shot face them, and I mean, he just scores on anybody. Doesn't matter how big they are. He's one of those kids that nobody in the district knows about him right now. But by the end of the season, everybody's going to know number 13. He took White's jersey number, so everybody's going to see him by the end of the year for sure.
I got excited watching those kids when they were 12, 13 years old, when they all played together in those tournaments and stuff. And I've been saying ever since, if he can get a little bit more Sonny's height instead of Kiana's, watch out.
Yeah, get rid of that crackhead height a little bit.
But he's got some skills. He's got some serious skills, and
he does. And he's a kid that you can't put your biggest, slowest guy on it, because this summer, I mean, we pull him out to the perimeter and he knocked down threes.
Yep.
Or he can drive on you. He's tough. He's a tough matchup for anybody.
I think so.
That's an exciting year coming up there. I mean, as exciting as this year was, it sounded like we got equally exciting next year coming up.
And I'm excited.
Yeah, I think I think defensively we probably won't be as good because we don't have that presence in the middle, the shot blocker to change the shots and such. But I think we're a little deeper, and everybody that we put on the floor can score. There's 3 more guys here on my list that are going to play a lot of minutes. Keith Kimes,
yep,
B.J. Emerson, and Jake Ashlock, a freshman. Jake's a heck of a player.
So I said the best defense, a good offense, though.
Yeah. I mean, if you got scores, you probably beat us. But
weird how that works out, ain't it?
We're going to try to put some points up. Yeah. It'll be fun to watch. I'll say that. I'll guarantee it'll be fun to watch.
He's going to be a smart little point guard, and he has no choice. I think Sharon told me he was a week old when he went to his first basketball game.
Yeah,
just a smart. Yeah, I love watching him run the one there, and you talk about Jake. I mean, Jake's been playing against high school kids for 4 years. It feels like.
Yeah. Jake's very skilled. Yeah, Jake's going to be good. He's going to be good at. He'll be a kid that'll get opportunity to play at the next level, I think. They
say his daddy was all right.
Well, that's if you ask his daddy. Yeah.
That was my next line. Well, I'm excited to see it, and like I said, I will stay objective as I can. I'll be. Somebody said the only time people from Jackson County give me a hard time, they said the only time DK comes to a Jackson County game if they're playing Clay County. But I'm excited to see it, and I forgot where I was going with that. So Lucas, write down something right there.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, if you'll tell me what size shirt you need, I'll get you a good shirt. You can get rid of that blue one.
Well, I'm allergic to black. Like I told you at that alumni game last year, I'm allergic to black and white. But
if you can find some good purple shirts, we'd sure appreciate it over here in Hermitage Springs. If you can start promoting that purple a little bit.
We've had some purple shirts, or at least some shirts with some purple on them from time to time.
Yeah, that's what we need.
I'll see.
That's the ones they took to Goodwill.
See what's in the storage cabinet.
There you go.
I need like plus size, whatever you got in plus size.
Maternity size.
Yeah. we always give them a hard time. I wasn't as butthurt about the consolidation as a lot of people was, and that's where we're kind of about to get into. But I said, my God, can we get more than a purple line on the court? Can we get something over there? But talking about the consolidation, going back, you started what year? 2000.
2000 is my first year.
So that was that the Matt Barlow, or are you talking about 2000, 2001 with Nick and Quentin?
2000, 2001.
Okay, so you missed out on the good players then.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. How do you think you could have coached with your skills? Could you have handled the egos that went with some of those guys that were pretty ball dominant guys in the early 2000s?
Well, I don't know. It's hard to say because I didn't know those guys. I think you really have to build a relationship with the player before you can do much with them, and get them you really have to get them to buy into the belief and to the system that you're trying to do, and to understand this is how you're best going to benefit the team, while, you're still going to benefit yourself too. So it's really hard for me to say, because to be honest, I just didn't know those guys much.
Right. We've talked about it several times in our Dusty Smith swears up and down, son, they back out, they come over here, they wouldn't have took our spot, and Dust swears that, and that was a really deep team in 2000 with Matt and Dusty and Chris Bartlett and Brad Watson. That was a pretty four good players, and we had Jeremy Hammer and AJ Craggett over here. Even the next couple of years, you would have had Casey Hagan, Daniel Hatcher, of course, is Gavin's uncle, and then with Nick, and then you had all the P. Ridge boys come along a few years later, that were great ball players.
Yeah. And that, of course, my first year was after Barlow and those guys. Bartlett graduated, so I had my first year was Nick Melton was a senior, and Quentin Smith, I think, were the only two seniors on the team.
Yeah.
And we, of course, we played Hermitage Springs twice. So we were 5-20 that year, my first season, and Hermitage Springs beat us twice. I think
that's what we do.
I went back and did a little research here. Looks like Duffer had a big game against us one time, had 22 points, and then Casey Hagan had 21 against us. Darren Cherry had 21 against us once.
Yeah. Darren's a good ball player.
Yeah. All the boys are good ball players.
Yeah, I've got Lucas down here for one foul.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say 1 point. I thought you're making that one up. You just gave me one extra point right there. I can guarantee. I believe the one foul, but I thought you was going with 1 point. I thought, ain't no way it happened.
Yeah.
I probably got sent in to make that foul if I just had to guess.
That was an offensive defensive switch in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. They said, run out there and foul him and come back over here. I said, okay, I got it, coach.
Yeah. But we and then the next year, I think you guys beat us again. We played 3 times that year. You beat us 81-64. That was a pretty good thrashing. Elliott Brown had 14. That's a game where old DK there had 12 points. He was 3 of. Well, he hit 3 threes. I don't know. He could have been 3 of 12, or he could have been 3 of 3. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever shot 12 shots in one game, so I had to be like 3 for 4 at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys had some good guys. Elliott Brown and Hagan. And
Elliott was a good big man. He was hard to push around. He's just big bodied.
Elliott's been 250 pounds since he was 9 years old. No more, no less. And
he's just been there. He's just hard. He's just been a solid stone down there in the post. He
was the king of the 3-point play. You got him. He had a little slow turn to the basket to his right shoulder, and he banked it off, and he got fouled. He always missed his foul shot. He was the Shaq of our team, but he was dominant down low.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember him. He scored plenty of those and ones against us, I'm sure. Of course, that time, we had Roy Frog was our lead scorer one game for us.
Roy Frog's a good guy. We love. I always really liked Roy. He did some of the craziest stuff I'd ever seen. I seen him jump out. He was jumping out of bounds, and I swear he was 20 foot to the left of the goal, and he jumping out of bounds, and he somehow shot around and behind the goal, and hit the shot. It was a layup, free throw, 3-pointer somehow. I don't know. It was all in one. I couldn't figure out how he done it. And hit it, and I thought, he's just better than I am. There's just nothing I can say else about it. He's just going to be better than I am.
That was Rob's inbound play.
He practiced those crazy shots a lot. Before practice and after, he'd be shooting crazy shots a lot of times. But Roy's a great athlete, man.
Yeah, he was good.
He was really good and a good basketball player too.
I remember the games you're talking about. Our senior year, if I'm not mistaken, we were the last team to beat you guys before the consolidation. Did you ever check on that when we were texting yesterday?
Which one would that have been?
That would have been the 02 season.
That would have been February of 02, probably. I think you're right, because the year after that, I think we won, looks like we won 64-53 and 81-55.
I can't speak I can't speak for the next year, but I remember during my senior season, Lucas is the class below me. I remember.
Yeah, I think you're right.
The game at home, we come out and we just come out hot. That's the game where I had those threes or whatever, and we were up, I don't know, whatever at halftime. We thought we ain't gonna lose these boys. This is our rival. We've got them. we come back out, and we're already comprised of a bunch of small forwards and power forwards and centers. We didn't have nobody handle the ball. And you pressed us that second half with probably like Dusty Adams or whoever was pressing, probably Adam and TJ and all those guys. And y'all come out and stomped us that second half, and it was so embarrassing for us to – I don't know what we ended up losing by. You can look, but like we were up double digits at halftime. And I asked Adam afterwards, I was like, man, what happened? I was like, what happened at halftime? He's like, I can't even repeat what Rob said in there. He said he put the fear of God in us. And then over at your place, best I remember, the time we beat you, James Hatcher had quit the team because him and John Denton, they didn't sign for each other's fan club particularly, and Elliott had the flu or something, so he missed. And Lucas got a lot of playing time. That's when Brent kind of carried us, and that was one of the worst games I'd ever played. I think I was probably 0 for I said I never shot 12 shots. I was probably 0 for 11 that game.
I think that was that's the one you're talking about in 02, right?
Yeah, that's the one you said I hit the free throws. Rob was so nice when he texted me yesterday. He said, yeah, you had a pretty good out, and you had 5 for 6 free throws with 5 points. I was like, why don't you just tell me I sucked, but I hit some good foul shots, though.
That I never hit one shot I shot other than a free throw.
Hey, Lucas had 11 points that game.
Yeah, stepped in for Elliott big time that game.
Yeah. Duncan had 27, and Lucas had 11.
I'm not gonna comment on it because I'm still afraid I'm gonna jinx it, and somehow or another that stat's gonna be wrong. It's gonna be not true.
11 turnovers.
Yeah, I'm just not gonna comment on it.
I think all those foul shots that I hit were in the fourth quarter to kind of seal the game. And the only reason I remember that is because we don't have a lot of claim to fame. And like when I got running around with some of those younger boys, like my boy Godwin and Thompson and all them, they say, dude, y'all never beat Celina. And Thompson, y'all never beat Celina, dude, and all this. Mm-hmm. I said, y'all better go get an old copy of the Statesman and see who hit those game-winning free throws, boys. I said, I might not have been any good, but I hit them game-winning free throws when y'all was on the bench or God was in junior high. You don't even know what you're talking about. You can get the hair out of your eyes and read a newspaper.
Well, the other thing is, all of that led up to the consolidation, which was, it was huge. It was a huge thing in Clay County. We finally consolidated, what have you. And so that was kind of a big year for you. You was trying to put those kids together that, those are kind of the alphas of the school. They got the biggest personalities, running out there playing. Everybody's used to being the best on the team of this and that. So how was it putting those kids together that year?
Well, it was different. It's something I'd never experienced before. And, the best I remember, I had, of course, I got Ethan Burble and Curtis Rote, and I think Curtis Collins played that summer with us, but then ended up not playing during the season. But Curtis and Ethan stuck with us, and both of them played roles. Ethan was kind of accustomed to. I don't mean for this to sound bad toward Ethan. It's just kind of how it was. He took a lot of shots, and then he realized that there were some guys around him that wanted to shoot too at the time, and it worked out in the end. It worked out really good. And I sure don't mean for that to sound bad about Ethan. I think the world of Ethan. He's a good guy. But,
second-rate Springer is what I heard him say. What about you?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Miss Nan knows better. She knows I love Ethan.
Yeah, I know. I'm not. That's just me. Pushing the line there a little bit. I'm just.
No, I know that's all right. But yeah, consolidate. I didn't grow up in Clay County, so I was completely unfamiliar with the difference in one end of the county to the other. So when I was here, it was a big rivalry for everybody. But really, to me, it was just another game at the time. Looking back, I understand why it was such a rivalry. But I was always kind of more concerned with, of course, I hated Pickett County when I was in school, so Pickett kind of became
that's because they were
that's
because they're your age now. They were playing.
Yeah,
they were 38 whenever they were playing in high school.
Failed sixth grade 4 times. Yeah, had a beard when they were 14. So getting back to that consolidation, I mentioned Tyler Kerr when we was off air. Tyler Kerr was here, and he talked about, oh son, if we'd have had all our team in 06 when it consolidated, we'd never lost a game. That was a lot of good players right then from Hermitage Springs and Celina right there, wasn't it? Did you go to the state that year in 06, correct?
in '06, yeah, that was the first time that I'd coached a team here that went to the state tournament. That was a great group. That was Sato Wall, John Gollin, Dustin Rich, Tyler Kerr, Casey Farrell, Bobby Knight. We had some good guys.
Had some good athletes. Not a lot of valedictorians on that team, was there?
Yeah, our GPA, 4.0. You add them all together, we might get a 4.0.
I'm gonna have to hear it when I see those boys.
Yeah. But they were all good guys. That's another one of my favorite teams. They were just tough and gritty. We didn't score a whole lot of points, but you had to work hard to score points against.
That's a lot of big bodies down low with Kerr and Dustin. I would think. I didn't watch you guys a lot back then, but
yeah, Tyler was a pretty good defender. Dustin was another kid like White. He was a presence in the middle, and if you beat your guy off the dribble, you still had to deal with Dustin down there. He blocked a lot of shots, so he made a big difference there. He hit the game-winning shot against Tennessee Temple in the sub-state game that year. Hit a little. I don't remember the name of the play, but we had run it a few times throughout the year, and we just called it there at the end of the game. He hit a little turnaround jump hook and put us up, and the rest is history. Again.
I would say that I've never saw that before because I wasn't watching y'all, but like 2009 or 8 when I started hanging out with Godwin, I'm not going to say that I wasn't forced to sit down and watch VHS tapes of these games at his house every now and then. We're living the glory days there. So I have seen that team in action on VHS tape. So I'm sure they watched it a few times. I don't blame them. I would. No, I don't, absolutely not, man. That was just give them a hard time. Those were good boys, and I'd say it was a pretty special team to watch. And like I said, with Tyler saying that, we had Matthew Smith and William Russell and Timothy McLaren and Jimmy Campbell, had some pretty good athletes, individual athletes down here at Hermitage Springs, and you've probably been about 10 deep, I would think, on that if you had those two teams together.
Oh yeah, I think so. I think you throw a couple more guys in with them. It makes a big difference. Something I've learned over 17 years is if you've got 8 or 9 guys that are capable of playing, you probably need to play them because not every team in single A has that.
Right.
And you can use that to your advantage a lot of times, and that's kind of where we've been the last 3 or 4 years. We've had a lot of guys that are capable of playing, and so we've tried to play them all if we can.
And I think it could have worked. I mean, the one myth that I want to debunk right now is the thing that the rivalry, but it was so strong against Hermitage Springs Celina. It never really was on our end. It may have been on Celina's side, like everybody calling us Springers. I've never really understood that insult. I'm going to tell you a quick little story. We were taking our ACTs over at Celina High School, the old Celina High School, when we were juniors. Myself, James, a couple other handful of people there. Chad Watson's come over to talk to us. I always liked Chad. He's coming over, and I'm not going to tell the girl. I'm not going to put her on blast right here. I'm not going to call her out because I like her. But she come over and said, Chad, now, come over here. You're not talking to those Springers.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And I was like, really? Is that really a thing? I don't know.
We tried to perpetuate the problem, but we just always liked everybody so much. Tyler Walker, which he didn't play ball right there in his last few years. And then, like I said, Roy Frog, I was always a big fan of his. And then later on, some of the other guys, I always liked everybody. But, we got out there and we tried to make that rivalry stick whenever we were playing ball. But, I couldn't ever do it. I'm always just been a people person. I just liked everybody, and I couldn't make it work. But I'll just tell you one thing, Rob. If I'd have been over there whenever you took coach, I'd have took better stats than anybody you ever had, buddy. I'd have rode that bench and took stats like a crazy person.
Every team needs a good stat man.
Oh yeah. You'd have got me and Duffer as big men, and I'd have sat over there and said, "Good job, Brent. You're doing great." Let me write down them shots.
You'd have had me running a lot, I'm sure.
I don't remember it ever being, a vicious rivalry or anything. Since I've been here, maybe in the 60s, 70s, 80s it was. But
that's kind of what my feeling was maybe in the early years it probably was, and then it just kind of the myth perpetuated through the years, but I never felt it.
I remember standing on the foul line asking Chris Key what we were doing that weekend.
Yeah.
me and Key were always good friends, and Adam Sims at the time.
Adam Sims is a good friend of ours.
So I hated Red Bulling. I mean, I still don't even get gas in Red Bulling. That's how bad I don't even like Red Bulling. So, so that's who I wanted to beat. Absolutely, we wanted to beat Celina. Now, don't get me wrong. And we were so bad my senior year, we said as long as we win Celina, Red Bulling, and Homecoming, we're good. And you know what we won that year? Celina, Red Bulling, and Homecoming. Goal achieved, brother. You got to have a goal.
My problem was I never had that killer spirit. I just loved competition. I loved to see people do good. And I remember I got in trouble one time because I clapped whenever somebody had done something on the other team that was really neat that was playing. I believe it was Monterey or Pickett County or somebody. Because I've still got some good friends, Tyler Garrett from up in Pickett County. And I believe it was him that did something really neat while we were playing him, and I clapped for him, and I got in trouble. I had to go sit on the bench for a little while after that. Well, something we do with all of our guests here. I
love it.
Yeah, this is just something we got going on here. It's the most embarrassing thing on your iPod. So it's just kind of a little thing we got here. Mine happened to be Katy Perry. I don't know why I've got Katy Perry on there, and I'd like to blame it on my wife, but it's not. It's mine. I downloaded it, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I've listened to it this week. I've listened to ET this week. I don't know why I did it.
He has ET. I have Roar, and I can't blame it on my wife, but I don't even know why she's got it.
So, Rob, go ahead and tell us what's the one song on your iPod that's your guilty pleasure that you wouldn't really want everybody else to know what you got.
Well, I can't think of the name of the group right now. It's and it accidentally got on there.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I said too to begin with.
What everybody said.
Wow, yeah.
It started off. If you call me now, you get a Jimmy Buffett ringtone or ringback.
Oh yeah, you get something cool if you sit there and think about it. If everybody's gonna hear it, you get something cool.
but somehow. I ordered this ringtone, or my wife ordered it or something. It ended up still being on the phone. It was on my phone. It was Moves Like Jagger. I can't think who sings that song.
I have, Brent, is it? I have no idea. I know the song you're talking about.
Yeah, it's sad. I can sing the song. I'm sitting here singing it in my head, and I can't think of who
Would you guys like to duet it right now? Would you like to have a duet?
No, no, nobody wants
give
me
me that option. If there's any way possible.
That is on there.
If there's any way possible, I'm going to sneak in the gym prior to one game, and I want that to be your run out music and see your face when that song comes out. Those kids always got the rap music blaring. How much street cred would they lose if they had Moves Like Jagger?
Moves Like Jagger on there. That's right.
Yeah, but that's probably the most embarrassing one on there, I'd say.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, that's not bad. It's we forgot to do that with a couple of our guests, but we're trying to pick back up with Bernard Pollard. He had one off the movie Rio, the children's movie Rio.
Yeah, he said he blamed it on his kids for having it on there. They want it downloaded. He said he gets to a stop sign, and then the next thing he knows, he's singing along to it and has to roll his windows up at the stop sign.
Yeah, we all blame it on somebody.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, I told Lindsay I get on here and gripe about Florida Georgia Line every week, and I
got 10 of their songs.
I can't 3,
lie.
And I about divorced her, Rob. After I heard the third one, first one I slipped. Second one I was like, okay. Third one I was like, all right, you got to stop putting Florida Georgia Line. People are going to think I'm listening to it.
My wife said, you know, I can't actually put stuff on your iPod. We've got 2 different iTunes. I said, oh no, okay, I'm downloading that. I'm sorry.
About 3 or 4 months ago, I got into listening to Sturgill Simpson for a while. I heard you guys talk about him one day.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, pretty good stuff.
Yeah, they ain't bad, man. Hey, Rob, man, this was an awesome interview. I appreciate you giving us all the time that you gave us tonight. We're super excited about the upcoming year. Super happy for Tyreke and all these other guys. Wyatt Mayberry, she was talking about there. He was liked watching him. From a big man to a big man. He was really exciting to watch. And I think you're doing a great job over there, and we appreciate you listening. Appreciate you calling in, man. That was huge for us.
Hey, I appreciate the opportunity. Just a few weeks ago, I didn't even know hardly what a podcast was. My wife asked me, said, "You've been listening to the One Lane Road podcast?" I said, "I don't even know what you're talking about." And
we get that a lot.
Yeah,
she said, well, it's Lucas and Dustin, and I said, what is it? She said, well, it's like a radio show. They just talk. And I said, what do they talk about? Well, probably things you'd be interested in.
Yeah.
So I was washing my truck a couple of weeks ago, and I thought, hey, I'm going to turn it on. So I listened to the first 2 episodes, and it kind of intrigued me, and I heard you guys talk about Tyreke. So
Yeah.
I thought I'd
Well, put in a good word for us with Tyreke there. We've been trying to get him on here. Everybody says he's a little shy. We ain't quite got him yet.
Yeah, he doesn't talk a lot. He's not a big talker. He just
maybe later on. Maybe later on in the year we can have you back on as it gets back closer to basketball time, and you guys can come in and sit in with us or something one time, and also wanting to get Matt on there since Matt Walker, he was a big supporter of our show early on. He put it out on Facebook for us, and we'd like to get him on here and talk about his upcoming season with his promotion to the girls head coach.
Well, Matt will talk enough for Tyreke and himself.
Yeah.
I love Matt Walker, guys. I love Matt Walker. I've learned a lot from him. I mean, he's just he's an X's and O's guy. I mean, he's really good. I mean, he's good.
I don't know that he thinks about anything but basketball. He eats, sleeps, and breathes it, doesn't he?
Yeah, the only bad thing I've ever found about him is where he's from. We brought him over from the dark side.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
But other than that, man, he's a super guy. He's a super guy and heck of a coach. He's gonna do good with our girls program for sure. That's
a big gain for y'all's school, absolutely, for sure. And just kind of go off what Lucas said, I do appreciate you coming in. It made my day, that text, because if anything can make your day driving home from 11-hour drive, and your wife's made you drive 3/4 of it, something kind of. I got through Atlanta traffic, thank God, without dying, and got your text and said you wanted to come on. You'd love to come on. And we got that. A lot of people listen to the first couple of shows, and I wish people would dive on into the collection. And I know everybody's busy, and we're talking for an hour, hour and 15 every week or whatever, but we feel like we're getting better every week. So people listen to those first 2 where our nerves are completely shot on those first 2. So if you can get the word out, say, hey man, these guys are getting better, check them out, and we got the fundraiser coming up on the 30th. You guys need to come down too. Got all kinds of good musical acts coming down. So
yeah, I'm gonna brag on you guys, everybody I see. Hey, let me throw one thing in there if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
We're going to have on August the 6th, that's a Saturday, I believe, we're going to have a clinic, I guess you'd call it, a basketball clinic at Clay County High School. It'll be for grades 3 through 8, and it's free. Doesn't cost anything. It doesn't last long. We'll go 3rd grade, 4th grade, and 5th grade from 9 to 10:30. From 10:30 to 12, we'll go 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, boys and girls. And we're going to have Tennessee Tech's men's team is going to be over here conducting the clinic.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So they're going to get to meet. If they come, they're going to get to meet and greet with all the Tennessee Tech players. So
that's cool. And
that's awesome. I might come over and find out how to shoot a layup or something.
Yeah, come on over.
Lucas been jumping off the wrong foot for 30 years.
Yeah, I jump off the right foot and shoot with my right hand. I can't help it.
So is that just for Clay County kids, or can other kids from other schools come? What's the deal with that?
Well, I think we were going to do it just for Clay County kids, but we'll make an exception or two if the kids show up. We're not going to turn anybody away.
Right.
We're not going to make a 10-year-old kid cry to show up.
Well, I was thinking I might bring Waylon over, because he's all, if he's not shooting basketball on the back of his little rim in his bedroom, he's playing it on 2K, or he's outside playing, or he's talking about it and want me to show him something on YouTube that Michael Jordan done. So he's all about it right now. So when I saw that on Facebook today, I was going to ask you or Matt if I could bring him over for that day. So
yeah, bring him on. We'd love to have him. We'll take him on.
That's the only time he'll be in Celina playing.
Like I said, I don't know how beneficial it's going to be. If we get 200 kids in there in an hour and a half, I don't know what they're going to learn. But they'll get to experience meeting some college players. So
that's pretty big. That might bring some dreams out in some of these kids. And make them actually want to get out there and do a little bit better as they're going.
Yeah.
Well, Rob, great job, bud. We really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Edwards.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. I'll let me know if you you need me to kill some more time for you, I'll come on and talk some more.
And I'll be looking for 2 seats in those padded on about a half court next to your father-in-law. I'll be looking for my 2 season tickets in the mail, brother.
All right, we'll see what we can do, man.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it, Rob.
All right, guys. Talk to you.
See you, man.
Yeah, man, that was a great guest. I'm glad Rob called in. That was he was a lot of fun, man. That was a good time.
Yeah, Rob's one of my favorite people in Celina. I knew he'd be a good interview because he's such a cut up anyway, and he's a good sport about things.
Yeah.
I purposely threw Celina people under the bus 2 or 3 times just to try to poke at him a little bit. And
a humble guy, man. To be doing as good as what he is, with what he's got, and which he's got quite a bit going on right now, and some great players, and to do such big things for our community. He's a humble guy.
He's a good guy.
First time I've ever talked to him.
Oh, really? It's a pretty good interaction between you two. It shows the kind of people person you both are. He's I went over there and refereed for him a couple times, and I've kind of interacted with him the last couple of years off and on and stuff like that. But, I said it in the earlier episode, and even though I wasn't a Tyreke or an AJ Crackhead, I would love to have been over there. I wouldn't have wanted to play in that black, another shot at that. Mm-hmm. But in all seriousness, I think Rob Edwards is a kind of guy that you want to play for, that you can respect. And, I respected the coaches we always had also, but I think Rob gets the most out of his players, and those players watching this last year, it's absolutely right that they knew their roles. You could tell Tyreke was the man, Wyatt was the big guy.
And that's big, being able to have the coach that can steer those guys into those role-playing positions, whenever you know how it is whenever you're young and you got a big ego, and I did too. It's nothing against anybody that's young, anybody on that team. It's just it's hard not to have a big ego, especially when you're young like that. And being able to steer those kids into the role playing positions, that's pretty big.
Yeah, and it shows how much they respect him.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And he's probably a lot of fun to play with because
I'd have to imagine,
because as much, like I said, he'll make sure you're going to do right and work hard. But like you said, they hang out off the court and they do things together. So that's where you need to be. That's where you need to be.
That's real big.
Rob's first class dude, man. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for coming on, Rob. That was great.
And I got to say, Gina said, I said, anything else that man's wanted? She goes, just all my love and affection. And I said, I'll make sure to mention that. She said, no, don't. So
there you go.
There you go, Gina.
Yeah. Well, we've got Josh Morningstar coming on here pretty soon. But before we get him on here, there's been some huge news. We talked about UFC 200 quite a bit, and man, there's been some big news come out over UFC 200 over the last couple days.
Shocking news.
Who's seen this coming?
Someone in the UFC got busted for drugs.
Hello,
PEDs.
And then guess who it was? The poster boy himself, Mr. Brock Lesnar.
He's not forced to take drug tests. Yeah. And he took drug tests and he passed 5 of them. Now he's come out, he's failed
2 of them. Uh-oh. Hello.
That's 2 more than you're allowed, folks.
That's exactly right.
And it's the same drug that John Jones got busted for.
Yeah, the first one was. I don't know what the second one was. I hadn't heard anything about it yet. I don't think they've
said, but the first one was the same thing as John Jones.
The first one was a estrogen blocker, which is the reason they test for estrogen blockers is to see if you'd been on something else before that. You can get on that testosterone booster of some sort before you and then get off straight into nothing.
There's been speculation on the internet because God knows if it's on the internet, it's true. But it said like when he had his what was it called?
He had diverticulitis,
and a lot of people were insinuating that would come because of his long-term steroid use. Mm-hmm. Look, 2001, 2002, when he first busted on the scene WWE, no way he wasn't. Mm-hmm. Too big. They didn't test back then. His traps touched the back of his head.
Yeah,
just monster. Mm-hmm. I don't care if he was 22 years old at the time. He was still just jacked up, and I think he's been off and on over the years, obviously, like you're supposed to be.
Yeah,
doing that stuff.
That's right. You know what? And them saying his diverticulitis was over that's ridiculous. I mean, most likely that had more to do with his diet than it did anything. You know what? Yeah. People reach for anything, but that's not super surprising. The only thing that is surprising to me about it is Mark Hunt. Mark Hunt and his whole thing. Him coming out saying he wants all of Brock's money that he made for that thing.
But correct me if I'm wrong. Before he was saying, "I don't care if he's juicing or not. I'll lay him out regardless."
That's what I heard.
Yeah,
I mean that's what he was out there spouting off, and then
so
all
now
of a sudden
he's got beat up.
Now he's got beat up, and he was a top 10 guy in the world, and he got handled, he got held down, and got out wrestled, and by a guy from WWE that ain't fought in 5 years. Now all of a sudden, well, that was kind of embarrassing. I want all his money.
Yeah, he got Brock got the record $2.5 million, and now Mark Hunt said, "I want half." Or release from my contract. Now he says, no, Cheater's shouldn't get.
Cheaters don't deserve anything.
Hold on a second. I got a new app on my phone. Mark Hunt said that cheaters. I don't want half. I want all because cheaters don't deserve. And so, that was more fun than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
So Mark Hunt, it's just kind of hypocritical now on his part that he's wanting money. Cause
he's not going to get anything.
Mark Hunt probably going to ride off in the sunset, I'd imagine, now after this.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be back. He'll be back into fighting because now officially he will win. He'll go down as having won. But, I had a lot of respect for Mark Hunt for going in there, but then don't come out later and start complaining.
Yeah, there's no sense in complaining about something like that. It's over and done with now if you have that one stance. But like you said, he's going to win. Brock's going to get some money lost. What's really up in the air now is Brock's status with UFC and WWE because they also test for steroids and PEDs and all the other stuff. And,
well, they say they do, right? I mean,
right. They say they do, but now that it's actually
out there, what are they going to do with it?
They'll give him a 30-day suspension.
Okay.
They've got to do it. It's a little slap on the wrist. But moving on from that, touch some other MMA news. What about Cyborg Santos?
Oh, my gosh, man. He was fighting Michael Page, and unfortunately, he leaned head first into a flying knee, buddy, and, got rocked. Worst MMA injury I've ever seen in my entire life. Crushed his skull, crushed his eye socket, crushed every bit of it.
It's bad.
It's real bad. And then, as bad as that was, obviously Michael Page didn't know how bad it was, but this Pokemon thing, man, is wearing me out. Michael Page runs over and gets a Pokemon hat, grabs a Pokeball, and throws it at him like he's going to snatch him up like a Pokemon.
I don't get it.
I don't get it.
I do a lot of nerdy stuff in my life. I don't Pokemon. I don't D&D. No disrespect to my boys that do play Dungeons and Dragons locally.
Yeah.
I don't get it. We were old enough that we missed on that Pokemon generation, and that was just a stupid move on his part to do.
It really was. Not just that it was bad timing. It's come on now. You're in the manliest sport in the world, and you're running over there and throwing on a Pokemon hat and throwing a Pokeball. Come on, kid. I don't know what that was all about.
Yeah, we're sorry, folks. We didn't bring you Pokemon. We brought you Rob Edwards and Josh Morningstar tonight. And us.
Yeah, we ain't gonna bring no Pokemon on here.
If anybody that's coming to the fundraiser the 30th, there will be no Pokemon there. I'm thinking about kicking out people that bring and even talk about Pokemon.
The first person that runs up and says, "There's a Pokemon over there," I'm done.
I hope everybody there's got Verizon service, not USA there, so they won't have cell phone service.
That's right.
Stupid Pokemon stuff.
Yeah.
Grow up. Jesus Christ. Well, that was a bad hit. Will they start outlawing the running?
No, surely not. That was
just a freak accident.
That was such a freak accident. That was good timing for one guy and horrible timing for the other one. A lot of guys run into punches and get dropped, but run into a flying knee, and he must have hit him right on the kneecap too, because he just crashed him. He had to stay out of the United States for a while. They couldn't let him fly for a while after that.
I bet.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was the worst MMA accident ever. I've seen snapped arms and broken legs and stuff, but that's nothing compared to cracking your skull open.
It was just ugly.
No, it was ugly.
Well, the last thing we'll talk about, and Lucas, quickly, because we've run a little long with these two interviews, which were great additions to the show this week, but I would not be doing my due diligence of my NBA professionalism, or not really professionalism, if I didn't cover the big fundamental Tim Duncan walking away from the NBA after 19 seasons.
Yeah, Tim Duncan, he was a guy that was I stepped away from even watching basketball for a long time, and he's been in there for so long. He's like Kobe Bryant. He's just around for so long that guy was there. That guy was there whenever I left, and now he was still there whenever I come back and started watching again, man.
I feel like Tim Duncan was there when James Naismith was shooting on a milk crate somewhere.
Well, he played with the Admiral, man. There ain't too many guys out there that played with David Robinson,
and there for a while, Shaq was the one that kind of bridged the gap from the Jordans and the Barkleys and the Olajuwons to the new school of Duncan and Kobe. Mm-hmm. And now Duncan's kind of done the same thing that Shaq done. That he and Kobe have bridged the gap between the David Robinsons and the Shaqs. The last guys to step away from that generation, the Allen Iversons, now to the LeBron. All these. And the thing with Duncan is, here's the thing. And my question to you is, who had the bigger impact on the NBA, him or Kobe? And we'll backtrack a second before we get to our points, our opinions on this. They couldn't have had a different thing. And I put it on Facebook. I said, Tim Duncan not attending his retirement press conferences so Tim Duncan, so to speak. You know,
Right.
Kobe done the farewell tour,
Mm-hmm.
and he wanted the admiration, he wanted the gifts, and the
Mm-hmm.
just all the attention that he got, and he deserved it.
Great player.
Great player. Duncan, just in the middle of the night, we wake up, Sports Center's on the next morning, Tim Duncan's retired, and he's not coming to his press conference.
Yeah.
And he's still on the contender. The Spurs won 70 games this year. How many ever they won? 70? I mean, they're right in the – I mean, of course, he lost a step, and he wasn't the same player the last 4 or 5 years. But he's still solid.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know which I know what you're going to bring up here. It's the Tim Duncan versus Kobe Bryant, so that's what you're leading into there. You know, whose career was better, right? You know, or who made the more impact or what have you. To me, it's just so different. You know, Kobe Bryant had this big career, but he didn't impact any other player's career. You know, he was playing for himself.
You meaning
as a leader? He did, as a leader. You know, he didn't coach any of those other guys up or whatever. He would rode them. You know, he was hard on them and what have you. Tim Duncan's that guy that's out there and he's trying to make those other guys better. You know, he's coaching those other guys up. He's wanting those other guys to do better and what have you. So, you know, for my money, Tim Duncan wins that match as far as a leader goes. But obviously, Kobe Bryant's always going to win that match as a basketball player goes.
Yeah. Well, and something great I heard on ESPN to kind of validate your point there, how they were differing styles. Kobe played on a team this year that was terrible. The Lakers was like the second worst team in the NBA. He goes out and makes it all about him on his last night, scores 60 points.
Mm-hmm.
Like Shaq says, I challenged him to get 50, and the MF got 60.
Right.
You know, on a meaningless April game against the Utah Jazz when neither team was making the playoffs, he just goes out and shoots. And don't get me wrong, it was a remarkable performance. But you got Tim Duncan, who people's counted him off year after year after year, and he, you know, plays his butt off in the playoffs. He had one of the best playoff games of his career in the last few years, you know, in a meaningful – a lot of the Spurs looked like they laid down, and Duncan was still laying it on the line in his 19th season, you know, and there was more fanfare about Kobe's 60-point game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Duncan just went to work. I said he put his head down, and he just simply become the greatest power forward that ever lived.
You know, and comes up something to your point there is that he went out there and went to work. Yeah. You know, he's that working man's player, right? You know, you go out there, you put in the time, you know what you're there to do, and it's not there to promote yourself. You're out there to promote the team, you know, make the team better and what have you. And I feel that kind of personifies his career. Is, you know, he was out there to play as a team player the whole time. Yeah,
and that's kind of that's the deal with the Spurs. That's from their head coach to their owner, their GM, every other player to play in the organization the last 20 years is, you know, like Popovich had a good quote this week. They said, "Why have you never been dubbed a super team?" He said, "I don't know. I just count championships." And my point that I forgot to add in a while ago about that argument, Kobe went out and made it by himself. There was a thing on ESPN this evening that said Duncan, and I can't remember the player, it was kind of a lower name scrub, big man in the league, said he was playing against Duncan, and he goes up, and Duncan blocks his shot. He said, as they're going back down the court, he goes, "Hey, big fella, if you get more into me, I won't be able to block your shot." And the guy's like, I wonder, he didn't know if he was being cocky. This guy blocked your shot. If you do it a different way, I won't be able to do it. Or he was helpful. He goes down the court the next time, he leans into Duncan, scores on him.
Right.
So Duncan's telling him how to score on him.
Right.
But
you know, and that's what I was getting at. You know, he just wants the game to be played well, not just his game to be played well. He wants the entire game to be played well. But you know, the other thing I said was I was a big Kobe Bryant fan. You know, and I still am. Because I don't watch games to see the games get better. You know, if I'm going to watch an NBA game, I want to see somebody just go off.
Yeah, I mean,
so Kobe, I think, played the NBA better, but I think Tim Duncan played the game better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's hard to argue. We always say it's hard to argue with eras. It's hard to argue positions as well. You're looking at a shooting guard versus a power forward.
That's right.
And of course, everybody's saying, is he one of the best big man? And Shaq said, I don't consider him a big man because they're centers. Duncan, played some center at the end of his career, but he's a power forward. You're looking at the second greatest shooting guard behind Michael Jordan of all time and Kobe Bryant, and the best power forward in history. And you're talking about a position that's played by Charles Barkley and Karl Malone. But getting those 5 championships, they both got 5 championships. Duncan played with David Robinson, but David Robinson kind of took the back seat to Duncan immediately. Duncan won a championship in his 3rd season, I think, and he was the Finals MVP. He was Finals MVP 3 of the 5 times they won championships. Kobe, I'm not going to say he rode Shaq's coattails because that wasn't the case.
Right.
Shaq, those 3 finals, he was that one averaging 38, 35, 36 points. Kobe get better every single time. And he took the team over when Shaq left. I mean, he's got an 81-point performance.
Right.
So if you're talking style over substance, Kobe. Yeah. We could go on about this
all day long. And I could keep making the same point over and over again. I was thinking of another one, but it's not going to add anything. It's the same point. It's just it's just from a different angle.
Yeah, it's just if you like the style of Kobe Bryant or you like the team player that Tim Duncan was. Either way, we're all winners. You get to
watch both of them.
We got to watch them both.
Those were 2 great careers. 19 years for Tim Duncan, 20 years for Kobe Bryant. I mean that's really something. Those are probably 2 of the greatest careers, other than LeBron James, that we're going to see in our lifetime. Probably. Yeah. And who knows what's coming up? But I mean, those are.
I feel like we're lucky enough that if you're putting me on the spot to ask me the top 10 greatest players of all time, LeBron James is already in there.
Mm-hmm.
He may be 10, he may be 9, but he's there. Kobe, LeBron, Shaq, Wilt, Russell, Kareem, Magic, Larry, and Jordan. That's my top 10. And how many of those have we seen in our lifetime? We've seen 6 of those at least.
Yeah.
And a lot,
I mean, that's everybody our age and probably some people older than us too. They'd still have to make that their top 10. There's, probably some other guys in there that some older generations would probably throw in there and kick some more guys out. But again, that's era style.
It is. You're going to have the Oscar Robertson, your Elgin Baylors, and your Jerry West and Dr. J's. Maybe some people like Akeem over Shaq. You're stupid, but no, he's a hell of a player. But I mean, we're lucky. Like I said, it always drove me crazy when say Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady. How about we just sit back on this Sunday night
and enjoy
their greatness?
Yep.
And that's where I think I'm at with Kobe Bryant and Tim Duncan. If you got to see it the last 20 years, we're winners.
Yeah, we're winners. Well, I'll tell you what, man. Let's go ahead and see if we can't get Josh Morningstar on the telephone.
Okay.
Hello.
Hey, Josh, Dustin Lucas on the One Lane Road podcast. What's going on, man?
Hey, how are you, my friend?
I'm good.
How's it going, Josh?
Not too bad, man. How about yourself? Which
Good.
one's which here? Just on that.
This is Lucas right here.
Lucas right there, and the other one's John.
Dustin,
yeah.
Justin, I'm sorry, man.
Dustin,
I'm sorry,
with
Justin.
D.
Dustin with the D, yeah.
Gotcha.
But I'll answer it. I'll answer anything.
Man, thank you very much.
We'll answer whatever.
All right, hey, man. Well, first things first. I've been hearing your name pop up a little bit, and I try to keep up with music that maybe a lot of people hadn't heard of yet, and I've seen a lot of people give you putting you out there on Twitter a lot, and one of those folks being Shooter Jennings. And 2 weeks ago at City Winery, I seen you perform for the first time with Shooter. Thought you did a great job in that opening act, man. How was that?
Oh man, Shooter's been great to me, brother. I've been on the road with him off and on since the beginning of last year, man. I met Shooter through his manager and my good friend John Hensley, the Colonel.
Yes.
Colonel was Shooter's manager, and John was one of the biggest supporters of my music that I had, man, and put me in contact with Shooter, and they were nice enough to bring me out. And after John passed away, they've still been nice enough to bring me out, man. I guess they like me opening up their shows for him, man, which I'm so damn grateful for. He doesn't have to bring me out with him, you know what I mean? But it's them and Waymore's Outlaws, and Waymore's is Waylon's old band, so that's a whole other thing in and of itself. I'm such a big Waylon fan, and those guys are all legends. Richie the Albright, Waylon's drummer for years and years, Jerry Bridges, Jigger, worked with everybody.
That's huge, Shooter's one of our the big guys we talk about quite a bit on here. We really love him, and Dustin came in, like you said, come and seen you the other day, and he said nothing but good things about you, man. What all have you got going on right now? Obviously, you're breaking into the scene, and you're touring with Shooter. You got any other big things coming up?
Man, I just released a new single, Merle Haggard Died Today. I wrote it on the day that Merle Haggard died, and it's called Merle Haggard Died Today.
Right.
Came out on Out of the Box Entertainment, which is Buddy, which is Waylon's another one of Waylon's sons, Buddy Jennings and his wife Kathy. Their company are managing me, and the Jennings family's been real damn good to me, man. But yeah, that just came out. It's available at joshmorningstar.bandcamp.com. But aside from that, I got some shows coming up. We're doing the John Hensley Memorial Show August 19th in Nashville with Shooter and
Billy Don Burns and a bunch of other people.
I'm gonna have to put that on my calendar right there.
I got a show with Radney Foster, which is a songwriter, real. He's hecked up by all kinds of people, man, and had some hits himself. So I'm looking forward to that. That's August 20th in Springfield, Illinois. I got shows festival coming up with Whitey Morgan and Cody Jinks. That's in September, as well as Billy Don Burns and Sonny Sweeney, and that's in Maryland, man. I'm all over the place, and aside from all that, I'm out every single week, man, somewhere hitting bars.
Super busy guy, man.
That'll have me.
Yeah, you're naming.
I try to be, man. Idle hands are the devil's playground, and
I'm not doing
I hear
nothing.
That.
Yeah,
I'm not doing nothing, I get into trouble, man. I always have, so I try to keep myself busy.
Well, one thing I was going to tell you, one thing I come in telling Lucas to this podcast when I said it'd be kind of cool to get you on here one day, and I kind of kicked myself in the ass after I walked past you. I was going backstage with Shooter afterwards with Adam, and I stopped you there and I said, "Hey man, good show," and I shook your hand. I was like, "Why didn't I ask him to come on?" But then I saw your post on Facebook yesterday, and I thought it was a great opportunity. But what I was telling Lucas is the honesty, of your story. You're getting in trouble. You're younger and you get in a lot of trouble. And the honesty that you told on stage that night was just, I thought it was awesome. And just it makes for better storytelling, and that's the kind of music I love, is great storytelling. And you.
Well, man, I really appreciate that, brother. I've had some trials and all that kind of stuff. I'm a recovering heroin addict. Over willing, I'll have 5 years clean October the 17th of this year. Man, I've done jail. I've done all that shit, man. So I play music for a couple of reasons, but the two biggest ones are because I have to. And the other one is to maybe help someone. You know what I mean? I was one of the fortunate ones. I made it out, man, and there's a lot of people that don't. So I try to be open about my past and honest with what I've been through, in the hopes that it'll help someone out.
Well, that honesty, like you're saying there, and talking about those trials and tribulations that you've been through, I mean, that's huge for young artists. As well as anybody does how easy it is to fall into those traps that this business will bring to people. And being honest and open like that, and showing those young kids that it's those are out there. You don't have to fall into them, but you can come out of it if you do. It's not the end of the world. If you fall into it, man, you can get back out there and you can come back and be successful. That's huge, man. That's awesome.
Well, brother, I appreciate it, man. And, yeah, you're exactly right. It's not it's kind of cliche and been said a million times. It's not how many times you get knocked down, how many times you get back up, and that's a cliche for a reason.
That's exactly
true.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's true. So,
yeah, I seen that Kathy and Buddy were helping you out there and managing you, and like you said, the Shooter Jennings, the whole group is just, are they not just like the most kind-hearted people that I've met Shooter 100 times, and my own John Hensley story was I saw him at a Mick Foley stand-up at Zany's 3 years ago, and he's he's so different looking. The Colonel was so he really loved how he looked. You know what I'm saying? He took pride in dressing up and having that persona of the Colonel.
Coolest motherfucker in any room, man.
Yeah.
And if you didn't believe it, just ask him, man.
Yeah.
And I went up to him at a Shooter show and I asked him about it. He's like, yeah. And Justin Wells, some guy we'll speak about in just a second. We just interacted on Twitter back and forth, and he was just so super cool to me. And he goes, "Hey man, come over here to Riverfront Tavern. We're all going." So it was me and a buddy of mine, Justin Wells. We went over there with Shooter, Jesse, Misty, Mary, Colonel, and Billy Don Burns. Tell me who in that equation doesn't fit in, right? Like, I'm so out of place in that. You know what I mean? And so I tell Colonel the story about Mick Foley, and he's like, "You're a wrestling fan?" He buys me Jaeger bombs the rest of the night, and we talk about growing up watching wrestling and loving it now to this day, and ever since then, Colonel and Mary have taken care of me at any Shooter show. I'm around, and like the other night I was backstage, so.
Yep.
Just a great group of people.
He's one of a kind, man, and I miss him every day, man. And that right there personifies John. A lot of people might have thought that he was arrogant or an asshole because he was a stylish kind of person, and you did notice him anytime you walked in a room. But that couldn't have been further from the truth, man. He had the biggest heart of anybody, man. And I miss him so bad.
I
I
remember the last show that I saw him at Shooter. It was in at a Harley shop in East Tennessee, and I asked him. I was like, "Hey,
man, I was supposed to be there. That was the last weekend I saw him. They went from there to Asheville, from there to Charleston, South Carolina, to Asheville, North Carolina. And I was supposed to be on that show at the Shed, right?
Yeah, the Shed. Yeah. Didn't they go to like Dolly?
I was supposed to be on that show, man, but something happened with the promoter, and I wasn't able to do it. So I met up with them the next night in Charleston.
And didn't they go to like Dollywood or something like something crazy?
Random.
Yep.
Yeah, I
they
remember.
Sure did, man. Yep.
And I remember asking him. I was like, "Hey, Colonel," I was like, "I'm wanting to come to this show, and I want to come back." I was like, "Do I need to buy this VIP package?" He's like, "Hell no." He's like, "Just find me before the show, And, and he did. And he took care of me. And then after the show, there was like 30 people just bombarded the backstage, and even the owner was making people leave. And he grabs me. He's like, "You got to go." And John's like, "No, he's with us." And John met me once, before that, right? So that just kind of shows you the kind of dude he was. So.
Well,
yeah, he was awesome, man. I love him to death.
Yeah. So, hey, Josh,
his mom and sister were at that show in Nashville.
Yeah.
It was the first time I'd seen them in a few months.
That's the first time I'd met them, and the mom was just like, you could tell she was really honored and flattered the nice words I was saying about John, so.
Yeah, it means a lot to it, man.
Yeah. Well, to get on a little bit different note, obviously you said Waylon Jennings, that was big in your life, But what's some other musical influences you've got right now? Where what do you kind of model yourself after?
Man, the biggest ones have always been Hank Williams Sr., Keith Whitley, and Lefty Frizzell have always been the biggest ones. But on the other side of the spectrum, I'm really into guys like Christopherson, John Prine, Todd Snyder, even kind of more recent, I guess, if you consider Todd Snyder recent.
Yeah.
But,
a lot of people just discovered him, it seems like.
I appreciate good music, man. I appreciate songs that are well written and melody. And those are the biggest ones, man. I got old Hank and George Jennings tattooed on me.
Oh, yeah. You named some good ones. And two of my favorites, I want to get your opinion on them, just for the love of their songwriting. And you said John Prine, it kind of reminds me of the guy I'm talking about. Then you said Todd Snyder, reminds me of another guy. Chris Knight and Cody Canada, two of my all-time favorites.
Chris Knight and Cody Canada?
Yeah, are you fans of them?
Man, you know what? I'm a fan of Cody. I'd be lying to you if I said I was super familiar with Chris Knight.
Oh, really?
I've heard a whole lot about Chris Knight, but for some reason I just haven't gotten into it. I don't dislike it by any means. I'm not very familiar with it, but I love Cody, man. Cody's awesome.
And he was really influenced by Todd Snyder. I think on one of his live albums, he said, I found George Strait, then I found someone. He said, I found Todd Snyder, then I found myself. And I just think that's a great line. And he's just so honest in his music, and great storyteller. And speaking of Chris Knight, and you not knowing his music that well, he's in Louisville Friday night with one of your good buddies and a guy that I really admire and love his music, Justin Wells, formerly Fifth on the Floor.
Yes, sir. Justin, I think, is another person I think the world of, man. The first time, me and Justin's first interaction, I was popping my mouth off at Buddy Jennings years and years ago, being a little asshole. And if I was him, I would have kicked my ass. You know what I mean? And Justin took up for Buddy, and he and I developed a friendship through that. And man, he brought me out and let me do songs in the middle of Fifth on the Floor set at New Runners one year. We did a big festival together in Ohio where he brought me out to do a song with him. Man, I just think the world of Justin and his new record. Have you heard his record?
I've heard the single. I hadn't got it yet. I'm going to pre-order it, but we've talked about it back and forth a lot.
Oh man, it's awesome. It is awesome. I'm so excited for him. I've been telling him this whole time that Lexington's had a pretty good couple of years between Sturgill and Sunday Best and Stapleton and those guys. They've had a pretty good year. I said, I hope the best is yet to come, man, because his record is phenomenal, dude. It is phenomenal.
That last the Ashes to Angels record that Shooter done for him, it's just so raw and just real. And I remember hearing it. And
that's a great one. But, I told him my favorite thing the Fifth on the Floor ever did was the last little 5 or 6 song EP they put out. It might even been 4 songs.
Well, it was 4 songs
they put out.
The Moving On song, and then the combination of Whiskey and Wine.
And After, what's the name of that EP? I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of a show. I'm on my intermission right now, and
yeah.
yeah, hold on one second, guys.
Okay.
I did see a little long-haired boy somewhere. He was over here on the basketball court, but I'm not sure where he disappeared to. But
Probably headed home.
yeah, he was up here. You're welcome. Sorry about that, guys. I'm
No,
in the
it's
middle
awesome,
of,
man.
of a show. I'm on my Smith break, and a lady. I tried to walk away from the venue so that I could actually hear you guys, and a lady's out here looking for her son. I've kissed myself, so if I can help in any way, I'm happy to.
That's fun. I talked to Justin yesterday, and what it was, I've never seen him. I've seen him at other people's shows. I've seen him at Shooter shows. I've seen him at Cody Canada show. I've never seen him. And the first time I met him was when Ashes to Angels was coming out, and I'd seen him at a show with Shooter prior, but never didn't know him. That was the first night I ever heard him perform, and I liked him, so I dove into his music a little bit. And he was watching Cody Canada, and I told him, I said, I've been previewing your stuff on Amazon. I'd like to have a copy. And he goes, well, I got a busted CD out. He's like, the case is busted all to hell. He's like, but the CD's perfect. He's like, do you want it? And I was like, what do you want for it? He's like, $10 or a shot of whiskey. I was like, well, you want to make money or you want to get drunk? so
yeah, that's him, man.
So we bought whiskey with it. But
Justin's awesome, man. I'm so excited for him because his record really it's incredible, dude. He did a great job.
I can't wait. And I texted him yesterday and was asking about it and all this, and he told me to come up to Cincinnati for the record release on August the 6th. He said, you need to get your butt to Cincy. And I said, hey, man, I got to ask you about somebody. I said, Josh Morningstar. I said, you know him? He goes, hell yeah, he's one of my good buddies. I love that dude. He's like, you need to check him out. I said, well, he's coming on our podcast. I said, you keep hi-hatting me. I said, but he's coming on. I said, and we're going to have a great interview. And he said,
man,
yeah.
That's awesome. Where's he at in Cincinnati? I'm in Covington August 6th, so if it's possible, man, I might come through there. Where's he at? You know?
He told me, but it's on my phone, and we're talking on my phone, so I'll have to shoot you that information or something. It's a small. He said he's only selling 200 tickets, so the venue's going to be a real small situation, you know. So he's in.
Shit, man, I'm in Covington that night at a place called the Wonder Bar, and you know that's like Cincinnati and Covington right beside each other.
Okay, yeah. He's up there. I didn't know the bands.
I'd like to come out for that. If I could.
I didn't know the bands that are opening for him that night, but he said Parsons is coming back to play for him that night. So that's pretty big to have him and Parsons together.
Yeah, hell yeah, it is, man. That's awesome.
But he's playing in Louisville with Chris Knight, the guy I was talking about. And I'm really, really thinking about driving up there Friday night to check him out.
Where are you guys at?
We're in middle of nowhere. In
yeah,
Tennessee.
if you get to the middle of nowhere, buddy, just keep driving. You're almost
That's
there.
all right, man. I've been all over Kentucky, man.
We're like
familiar with Kentucky.
Do you know where Tompkinsville is at?
Yes, I do.
We're 15 minutes from Tompkinsville.
What's the name of town?
Hermitage Springs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've never been there.
Yeah.
No, nobody
man,
has.
I've been all through Kentucky, though, man. I did a run through Kentucky with Shooter, too. We did E-Town, London, Kentucky Chicken Festival. 10,000 fucking people at that show, man. That whole damn town apparently came out.
Yeah, probably more than just that town.
We did Prestonburg, we did Bowling Green. I've been all, man. I was actually just in E-Town a couple weeks back. How far are y'all from there?
We're pretty good ways from there. We're probably at 3 hours from E-Town, 2.5, 3 hours.
Are you in Western Kentucky, or where are you at?
We're actually in Tennessee. We're just on the border of Kentucky.
You're in Tennessee. I thought you were in Kentucky. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. We're just barely out of Kentucky, man. If you drove to the border, we're 5 minutes from the border.
Hey.
Okay, what's the closest city to you?
Bowling Green's
like
pretty
how
close.
far are you from Nashville?
Hour and a half.
An hour and a half. No shit, man. Shooter and them, I'll be on it, Billy Don Burns, Shooter, and a bunch of other people that I just can't even begin to tell you. One, because I'm not sure if I'm on, two, because I'm not sure if I'm allowed to, but I'm doing the John Hensley show.
Hey, and
John Hensley Memorial Show in Nashville on August the 19th, and it'll be a great time.
I got to make it that one, man, because like I said, I've been seeing Shooter since 2005 when he came out. You know, I've been to probably 18, 20 shows, just love Shooter, and love the whole situation with the Colonel. And I didn't get to go to the tribute show because it was in Kentucky, you know, in his hometown last year. So if there's any way I can make it to Nashville and get an invite or something to that, because do you know where the venue is going to be at yet? Are you allowed to say?
You know, I'm not 100% sure yet. I haven't gotten all the details. I was just asked a couple times to do it, and I said, of course, I'll be there. I just know it's August 19th in Nashville.
Can you let me know when you message me or something when you hear that information or whatever?
Yeah, of course I will, man. I'm sure it'll be posted everywhere as well for anybody listening to this that would like to come. I'm sure it'll be posted through all Shooter stuff and, on my stuff, joshmorningstar.com. Facebook and all that stuff, Josh Morningstar. Instagram, Josh Morningstar. Twitter, Josh Morningstar. The new single, Josh Morningstar, or excuse me.
You got on a roll there, Josh Morningstar.
Single, Josh Morningstar died today. No, the new single, Merle Haggard died today, is available at joshmorningstar.bandcamp.com. If you Google my name, man, you'll find me.
We're gonna. If you
I'm sorry, guys. I feel like an asshole. I have to cut this short, but
that's fine.
If you and they're staring at me and tapping their watch. So
that's awesome. If you don't care, we're gonna play your single after this, if that's all right with you.
Well, brother, I appreciate it, and I would love it. And thank you guys very, very much for having me on, man. I really appreciate it.
Hey, man, great job, and I hope you do have everything goes good tonight with your show.
All right, buddy. Thank you guys very much. Y'all take care. I look forward to seeing you soon.
All right, Josh. Appreciate it, man. Bye. Yeah, I felt like that was a good interview, man. It was a
good interview. I mean, he's an up and comer, obviously. One of these guys that I feel like is going to be in our vernacular pretty soon.
Yeah, I just feel like that. I like his honesty and I like his openness about his past, and I love that he's getting the opportunity to shine with Shooter, and Shooter loves putting those artists on. Spotlight.
Well, he's such a grassroots guy. He even had those grassroots campaigns whenever he was, first coming around through here. Shooter did, and these young guys like that, this is what Shooter's made of. That's his heritage right there. Those young outlaw guys like that, and I'm not saying this guy's an outlaw by any stretch of the imagination, purebred, but he come out and talked about how. His past, what have you. So I mean, he's lived the life, So
well, and Shooter, that goes back to that show that I talked about with Shooter put on with Hellbound Glory and Fifth on the Floor and Sturgill and all these guys that were there that he helped try to expose. And I think he's doing the same thing for Josh. And I just appreciate him coming on. And we're going to go ahead and play the song for you guys. It's his new single. It's out. It's called Merle Haggard Died Today.
Got a phone call from my mother. She asked me if I'd heard the news. I told her that I hadn't. The band and I had practice all afternoon. She said it's probably on the break. And I know you're gonna hate what I say. It breaks my heart to tell you Merle Haggard died today. I got a phone call from my woman. She asked me if I'd heard the news. I told her that I had, and I collapsed and prayed to God it wasn't true. I bought some flowers and some liquor, and I kept the wine and threw the rose away. I'm hiding from my teardrop. Merle Haggard died today. Silver wings that faded out of sight. I think I'll just stay here and rain. Pray the bottle doesn't let me down tonight. And I bet all of my money the angels sang back home all the way. We'll never make it through December. Merle Haggard died today. and I bet all of my money. Angels singing back home always. God bless the Okie from the Skokie. Merle Haggard died today. I guess the good times are really over. Merle Haggard died today.
Man, that was pretty good.
All right, Josh Morningstar.
Josh Morningstar, Merle Haggard died today.
I'll be damned, a country music star.
Singing country music?
There was no tan lines. There was no tailgates. There was no get your fine ass up my truck, girl. We're going to ride
Not a
with
bit
you.
of it.
Good God.
That was so weird. That was actually country music, people.
That was a real country singer singing about his hero. Damn good job, Josh Morningstar.
Good job, Josh Morningstar. We really appreciate you coming on tonight, man. That was awesome of you. You know, he's got a big future ahead of him, man. He's, if nothing else, he's a good songwriter.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll be looking forward to the Colonel tribute because I didn't know about it, and we'll have to make my way there, and hopefully Josh will, play.
At least recognize us or holler at us.
Well, I hope he gets to play that night. But I was going to say, I hope he gets to play plenty of good songs that night. So, hope you guys enjoyed that song. We'll be hearing more from Josh in the future, I'm sure.
Yep. So, Dustin, go ahead and plug our upcoming show. The OLR podcast brings you an acoustic evening in the park down here in Hermitage Springs Park.
Man, we have busted our butt on this, guys, and we just want. I had a long talk last night with a friend of ours who was contributing so much to this show, and our buddy Chris Raines. Chris has been a friend of mine and Lucas's for a long time, and he's putting a lot of effort into this show. These logos, hey, Chris is the one that done the logo for us.
Yeah.
First and foremost, that was all Chris's brainchild that we love so much of that logo, and he's doing that for us. The new ad that you saw this week on Facebook with all the artists, Chris done that. So he's putting so much effort into this. On top of myself and Lucas's. Lucas is doing this. Doing all this stuff outside,
just in the background. But we're really in Chris's wheelhouse here.
Yeah.
And so. All the stuff he's doing, this is stuff that, it's really, we could do it. We might be able to do it, but it's not going to be near as good.
Yeah. Him throwing our logo. He took our picture and made it into a logo.
Right. We had something. Man, he made it so much better.
And what's funny, as passionate as me and you are, is as passionate as he is about his music, but this excites him too. Like he says, he sits there at work with his brother Brad. Brad's like, you mean you nobody can keep your attention for 15 minutes. You're listening to these boys for an hour and a half. Chris says, I love it, man. He said, I just love it because they're real and they're friends, and I love these boys. And that's he's showing us his appreciation.
He's showing us a lot of love, and we sure appreciate it.
And we got so much into this, and not just the podcast is one thing, but this charity thing, this fundraiser. We got so worked up last night. We met over at Hooligans, and I don't go out much in Cookville anymore. You know what? We were there longer. Realized my back was to the front door, and I turned around and said, this place got packed on us. I mean, it was like 5 people when we got there.
Right.
And we were just sitting there, like, if you could count how many times we were just moving our hands like this and just getting into what we were talking about. And he's just as passionate about this project as we are, because he don't want to put his name to it and it suck.
That's right.
But what he's saying is, where are we going with this? Like, what is our goal for this next Saturday? Mm-hmm. Is it to establish ourselves as get more credibility for our podcast? Are we trying to do it for the money to get for Relay for Life? And I feel like the answer is both.
I feel like the answer is everything, because I want to get our name out there. But, we've talked about a bunch of artists, and, we know about them, and we know how good they are, and we've heard them all our lives, but we've not spread them out to everybody yet. So I want to get them out there too.
And that's what I'm saying with him. I said, man, it's about the music to me. No, it's not about us. It's not about any of us. He said, we're here for you. And I said, yeah, but
the thing is, we're here for them, is what I feel like, And then, obviously, Relay for Life's got a big impact on both of our lives, It's got both a big impact on us. So, so I think it's all of us.
It is. It's from 3 to 9, and we're going to put, he said, you guys need to be up there front and center talking. And we are. We're going to be talking at the first. We'll be talking in between every act, and we'll probably close the show out. But it's not about us. our goal is, like I said, Chris and Brad Raines are superstar musicians around these parts, and they put on a show. Barry Birtle, I very much love and respect, and his daughter Lindsay, who can sing their butt off.
Oh, man.
Your cousin, who's got a hell of a future.
Yep.
Travis, who I watch his Facebook post. Matt, we have such a big following for Dawson's Branch. I'm glad to have him on. I watch his Instagram videos. Ryan Hammer and Danny Joe kill it every time. Mike is coming all the way down here to BFE to play for us and drive back to Nashville to play in a bar. These son of guns are really putting it out on the line for us, giving us a lot of love, and it's the least we can do just to sit back, stand back, shut up, and let them do what they do best.
Yeah, and, we're trying to reciprocate that love, and I feel like, one of the best ways to do that is just for us to do as good of a job as we possibly can to promote the show, for us not to look bad, us up there and do the best that we can, but then at the same time, just get out of the way.
Yeah,
get out of the way, let these guys perform.
And Chris is like, well, what if you want to holler? We're not turned into a comedy roast.
No.
Or anything. God knows I've seen enough of those days, okay?
Yeah. So
we're trying to just highlight everything. And like I said, Relay for Life. Guys, look, like Lucas said, it's a big, big thing in both of our lives. We've both lost very close family members in the last 2 years to cancer. Mm-hmm. It's a big thing, and we don't want to look like jerks by coming up here and promoting this and making $200. So we're asking the community to rally everybody. I don't care if you're from Clay County, Macon County, Jackson County, Monroe County. I don't care if you're from Memphis. You hear about this. Come down, donate with. Let's get some donations out there. Let's make this thing big.
Yep.
Let's make it look good. So we'd be proud to give a big check to Relay for Life.
That'd be awesome, and. The only thing that I ask is when you come, just have a good time. We're if you don't do anything else, come down here, have a good time, and after you leave, tell somebody how good of a time you had. Tell somebody about the podcast. Tell somebody about what happened down there. Tell somebody about your new favorite performer. Hopefully you come down there and you find a performer that you haven't heard before, and you just can't wait for their next song to come out. Man, if you come out and don't say a word about the podcast, but you say something great about a performer that come down there, that would make me.
This is
ecstatic.
And we're planning on doing a cornhole tournament. We've got a guy that's interested in maybe doing a cornhole tournament. So be prepared to throw some cornhole. James Hatcher, I know you're dying to just beat somebody.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he probably will. He's pretty good.
Yeah. So that money is going to be going to charity. But like I said, do we hope to gain more listeners and more followers and more fans for our podcast?
Obviously.
Absolutely. That was that the number one objective? No.
Not a bit.
But we'll damn sure take all the new fans and followers. We love responding to you guys. We love putting this, we got busy lives, and we absolutely love doing this for you guys. And whether 30 of you listen a week or 130 or 400, whatever the week depends on, I feel like this will be a good week with Rob coming on and Josh. We thank you. We can't thank you enough to the hardcore fans each and every week that tell us they're excited for this show. The T-shirts are in. The koozies will be here by the 30th. We got some cool things going on, guys, and I hope you're digging it still.
Yep, great job, Dustin. Hey, we appreciate everybody. We'll probably get one or two more of these out here, at least one more podcast out there to promote everything before we get to the actual July 30th event. We may get two out there depending on how it goes. Go ahead.
No, I'm just going to say he's right. One more, probably a small show next week, but we're looking at July 30th. It's 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Hermitage Springs Park. We've got it all day. I talked to the lady today, so if you want to come early and hang out, come early. We'll be there setting up. We may stay later than 9. Just tell everybody we're making this thing huge.
Yep, try to make it as big as we can. Everybody, we appreciate you listening. Hope you come back next week. Hope you show up on July 30th. This is the One Lane Road Podcast with Lucas and DK. We're out.